We're seeing some unsettled weather for some of the islands right now, and the impacts a cold front will bring us later this week. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo on this Monday, March the 4th. Good to see you. Hope you had a great weekend. We have some heavy rain and we have some persistent wind and surf and sea problems for some of our islands right now. I'm also tracking a cold front. We'll talk about the impacts that's going to bring us. What do you say we get right into the video? I'm going to show you what's happening on this Monday afternoon. This is our visible satellite imagery here. There are several key areas to talk about impacts happening on this Monday, and then we'll get into the forecast for the rest of the week. First thing I want to do is I'm going to throw on the wind gusts here across the islands. We're going to take a look at that. We've had some fresh breezes from time to time, especially over the northern Leeward Islands, portions of the British Virgin Islands, places like Anguilla, and the British Virgin Islands and the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Croix, St. Thomas, Road Town, Tortola areas with wind gusts near 30 miles an hour. That's really kicking up surf and sea conditions, and we'll talk about some of the high surf problems that we're going to have. I want to start off with what's happening in the Bahamas right now. We had a cold front come across the United States southeast. Again, I mentioned this in Friday's video, that this may not be a clean frontal passage, and you can see that we're building in these clouds as this front kind of weakens and just sits over the northwest Bahamas. So let me show you the live radar right now. I'm going to throw that on the map. And you can see some of the rain developing here through portions of the northwest Bahamas on this Monday afternoon. I'm going to take off the satellite data so it's just very clear to see. So again, you can see those clouds aren't moving much, and neither are the showers, and they're just firing up right now near Eleuthera and New Providence, especially over Andros, portions of Abaco and Grand Bahama as well. Again, over the last hour or two, we've had some nice heavy downpours develop over northern sides of Andros, from San Andros down to Andros Town. Some of this has drifted over portions of New Providence. You can see that rain slipping over Old Fort Bay on over towards Cable Beach and Nassau. Even the southeast side of the island near South Beach should at least catch some of these showers. So if you live in the New Providence area here, we're getting some rain on this Monday afternoon, and more is on the way. And it's the same situation for Eleuthera. We could catch a couple of showers near Dunmore Town. The southern sides of Abaco south of Marsh Harbor, we've seen some rain move in. It's been pretty spotty in nature, but from time to time, we've gotten a downpour right over the Marsh Harbor area as well. And then for my friends in Grand Bahama, a little bit of rain has developed right over places like High Rock and Freeport and Lucaya on this Monday afternoon. And again, it's going to be spotty in nature, but it's not completely dry. We'll continue to see this rain just kind of flare up. We had a nice little shower, good downpour there over the Freeport Lucaya area here in just the last half hour or so. Again, recording this on late Monday afternoon. So again, we're fairly wet through portions of the northwest Bahamas. Walker's Key and portions of the Bimini area will be included in that as well. Want to go back to the wide perspective here. By the way, there's a small craft advisory for the Atlantic exposed waters for the Bahamas, for no other areas, but getting out to the Atlantic exposed waters, you're going to see some rougher surf and sea conditions. Let me get back over to our visible satellite imagery here. The next area I want to talk about where we have some impacts is portions of the Leeward Islands, especially down in the Barbados area, St. Vincent and St. Lucia. You see these thicker clouds, these brighter white cloud tops. We've had a good plume of moisture develop. There is a trough, or what we call a shear line, right over the islands, and that's aiding in the lift in the atmosphere. And we've actually had some relatively impressive rain today in Barbados, Spadestown, on over towards Bridgetown, and then that thicker clouds can just travel that rain right through St. Vincent and St. Lucia. Nice little, again, moisture axis from east to west. The rain continues to fall in these areas. From time to time, it could be heavy. More than likely, at worst, we would see some very minor flooding. But again, it's been some good downpours and some thicker clouds. There is some rain south of here towards Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago, but it's much more spotty in nature. Certainly not completely dry in those areas. But again, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia were the areas with the most rain. Still some rain for Martinique and Dominica. Again, everything moving in from east to west. And then we've had some spotty showers and a lot of wind in the areas that I mentioned a little bit earlier. Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and portions of Puerto Rico. And in this area, these winds are quite strong. Again, let me put back on our wind product here. And again, first of all, you're going to see the temperatures appear, which are mainly in the lower 80s here, which is actually some of the cooler spots. But you can see some of the stronger winds in St. Croix and the St. Thomas area, Charlotte-Amalie, Christiansted, and towards Saba and St. Martin and Anguilla. Again, all with winds right around 30 miles an hour in gusts. It's the same thing for Puerto Rico. And this is causing some problems. We have dangerous surf and sea conditions in this area. There is currently a high surf warning for Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla, and the British Virgin Islands through tomorrow. And these are some pretty high-end hazards. So please be cautious of this. First of all, you don't want to be getting in the water anywhere in these islands. The surf conditions are over 10 feet or over 3 meters from time to time. Seas are running 6 to 9 feet, 1.8 to 2.7 meters. We have dangerous rip currents because of this, and we do have some at least potential for coastal flooding, especially on the high tide cycles, some of the low-lying areas, especially of the eastern and the northern coastline. If you live in this area, drop in the comment section below. Let me know what you're seeing, because again, this could be some relatively rough conditions. There is a high surf advisory for St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, and I'll continue to monitor the situation as we go through the week. But at least through tomorrow, very, very rough surf and sea conditions for portions of the Leeward Islands. Okay, let's get back out to my friends in Jamaica. One other area I want to highlight for the opportunity to at least try and drag in a few showers as we roll through the day. And you can see we have some cloud coverage moving over the eastern side of the island towards Port Antonio, Kingston, Spanish Town, and the Portmore areas. This will try and drift off towards the west, give us at least the opportunity for a couple of showers here, Montego Bay, Savannah, Lamar in the mix. It's not going to be a lot of rain for today, but at least that opportunity is going to be there. Back over to the wide view, want to show you the water vapor imagery. Love to show you this here. Let me go over to the upper levels because I think it kind of tells the story a little bit more. A couple of really neat features for early March. Nice little curlicue here in the central Atlantic. We have another little wrap-up system here coming off the United States East Coast, so that moisture has been able to funnel its way a little bit farther south through the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos, the northern sides of Hispaniola, and again into these areas where we have the very rough surf and sea conditions. Now, before we get into the full forecast for us here, I do want to mention one thing, that if you have not become a subscriber to the channel and you want these latest forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, click subscribe right now. Have a goal of getting to 10,000 subscribers by the end of March. If we continue with the same climb we had in February, we're going to get close, but I'd love to get over that. So again, if you appreciate this, if you like what you're seeing, you want these daily forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, hit that subscribe button right now. If nothing else, if you would do me a favor and click that like button, I'd certainly appreciate it. Again, still the majority of the people who watch these videos are not subscribers. That number is climbing though, and I appreciate you subscribers to come back and watch these videos daily. And again, I appreciate you clicking that subscribe button. So again, our temperatures on the board right now are warming up, and one reason why, for the most part, is we're going to be staying with our easterly winds. So that's the first thing I want to show you here on the model, is that we're going to have our easterlies continue. Now look, this is very typical this time of the year to have fresh east winds. Again, it's kicked up the surf and sea conditions through portions of the Lesser Antilles, and it's just going to take a minute for the model to completely loop over the next 5 days. There's a lot of data here on this product to show you, but I'm going to walk you through it here. One area that I think is going to see a tremendous amount of wind is going to be the ABC Islands. It's not atypical for early March, but Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, better hold on to your hats. We're going to have some easterlies over 30 knots from time to time as we go through the week. There's one area that I do anticipate there to be a wind shift, and that's going to be up in the northwest Bahamas here through portions of the Freeport area and Lucaya. I'm really hoping this model is going to cooperate and give us all this data. Looks like it's just a little bit slower today, but that's okay. I can stall with the best of them. We'll talk it out. I think it's finally completely loaded up. Again, there's a lot of information because I take you out the entire 5 days. You can see that model time frame on the top left side of your screen, taking you all the way through early Saturday morning. So again, easterlies continue. Those wind arrows pointing from where the winds are coming to where they're going. And the purples and the pinks are going to be winds of over 20 knots. One thing else I can do actually is throw on these text numbers. So when I zoom in to Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, you get the idea. And I'm going to make these a little bit bigger, and I'm going to space them out a little bit more. Don't worry. It's going to take me 1 second here to do that. So you can see here on this plot, you're going to be picking up sustained winds well over 20 and 25 knots right on through the remainder of the week. It'll even freshen up a little bit more as we get into, let's say, Wednesday, and then stay in that same range into Thursday and Friday. So very strong winds there. Generally speaking, the wind should be diminishing, which is why more than likely and hopefully we lose the high surf advisories and warnings for the northern side of the Leeward Islands as we get into Wednesday, as calmer winds begin to move in, relax the surf and sea conditions. I'll be watching another cold front coming in for portions of the Bahamas. And again, we'll have a southeast wind ahead of that, but there is the opportunity here as we get into, let's say, late Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, at least to swing the winds around briefly. This is not going to be a tremendously strong front coming in for us here, but there is that opportunity. Back to these kind of aero products here. And again, you just get the idea that you should anticipate an east wind. And what that means is temperatures for the week are going to stay relatively stable. What you've seen over the last couple of days temperature-wise is what you're probably going to get the majority of this week. Of course, there's always some exceptions. If you get a little bit of rain earlier in the day, you're going to get a little bit cooler weather, but some of the humidity will be coming back for the ride as well. Okay, let's take a look at the model here over the next 5 days. Now, again, there are some areas that have just had some impressive rainfall in very localized areas. Again, portions of Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Lucia, we just one of those areas to highlight that they've just been stuck in that moisture conveyor belt, all right? But surrounding areas like Martinique and Dominica, while not completely dry, certainly haven't had the persistent rains as some of this area has seen. Now, the model is picking up on that somewhat. Again, I think that we are in store for an opportunity for showers almost every afternoon. I'll have to see how it plays out every day. But if you live in this area, expect some clouds to develop, which again is not out of the ordinary for March. Maybe the persistence of the rain and the total amount we get is a little bit more. But we've already talked about how sea surface temperatures are very warm. And that's one of the components to get us more lift in the atmosphere, to destabilize things and get heavier rain. So with what we're seeing outside, it's not shocking that we have some areas of some heavier rain. For my friends in Trinidad and Tobago, again, you're kind of on the fringes of that. Although, again, on our forecast model, which I'm letting run out over the next 5 days, that opportunity is going to be there. We'll continue to see at least some scattered showers. Tobago, Grenada, maybe a slightly higher chance than Trinidad. Up to the northern sides of the islands, again, it's a little bit more spotty. If you notice, your winds are actually going to try and be a little bit more out of the northeast. It's a slightly drier air mass, so kind of the highest chance for rain is Guadeloupe South. So Antigua and Barbuda and Saba and St. Eustatius and Anguilla, all with limited rain chances. It's really about your surf and sea conditions for the most part. British Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, about the same scenario. Easterlies could still pop off a few showers on the eastern sides of Puerto Rico, mainly towards San Juan and Fajardo, a little bit drier on the western side of the island there towards Aguadilla. As you get over towards the Dominican Republic and Haiti there on Hispaniola, isolated showers at best. Should be a really nice forecast. Maybe you're doing a little bit of sport fishing out there from Santo Domingo to Punta Cana. We're looking pretty nice. Southeasterly winds. I'll monitor the surf and sea conditions, but overall looking pretty good. My friends in Jamaica, again, I mentioned this in the Friday video that will start to dry out a bit early this week. Now, we've had a few showers over the weekend. Let me know in the comment section below if you caught one of those. We've had a couple of showers on this Monday. The easterlies continuing for us here, so at least the opportunity for a little bit of rain. Also, don't be surprised if towards Kingston, we're in the upper 80s most of the week with a bit of humidity coming back for a ride. A little bit warmer, a little bit more humid. But again, we'll look at the total rainfall potential in your area coming up, but on a daily basis, just not a ton of rain. Same thing for my friends in the Yucatan and Belize and the rest of Central America, including the Cayman Islands as well. It's an isolated shower at best. Now, I mentioned, again, we'll be watching this front. This will, again, have more impacts for the Bahamas than anywhere else. It will try and turn the winds in the Northwest Caribbean briefly out of the north, but just like this last front that came through, even in the Bahamas, if we're going to get a northerly wind shift, it's mainly going to be happening just as the front comes in. And when is that arriving? Well, that typically looks to be on the models during the day on Wednesday. Showers developing as the front comes in. You can see there could be some heavier rain, maybe some isolated thunderstorms for places like Abaco and Grand Bahama and New Providence and Eleuthera and Andros. All the Northwest Bahamas will be included on that. and then we dry back out after that. So it will be Wednesday that I'll be monitoring the situation here for my friends in the Northwest Bahamas for the opportunity for at least some downpours, if not some thunderstorms. We'll keep an eye on any potential for severe weather. It's not non-zero with this. I'll have to see how it kind of plays out over the next few days for us here. But that's the broad look at what's going to be happening here over the next 5 days. Okay, friends, remember, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you just haven't done it yet, if you go to the live tab here at Meteo Mundo, we have that radar system that I just showed you streaming 24/7. Look for the live tab, look for that thumbnail. Here's what I suggest. If you want the live updates in your area, live radar, live satellite, live temperatures, click on that. Maybe check it out for 5 minutes. Now, this will get more important as we get closer to hurricane season, because we'll be tracking these systems on this live stream 24/7. Any tropical development will be live. Of course, I'll be doing more live streams on the main channel as well as we ramp up and get closer to hurricane season. And you can find us through a lot of social media as well. If you have Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook, we have all of that covered for you. If you want to send me a picture or video to use on these YouTube videos, myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Of course, if you have a specific question about the forecast, drop it in the comment section below. And as I mentioned earlier, you want to do me a big favor, want to help out the channel, click that subscribe button right now. And if nothing else, click the like on this video. I certainly appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Monday, friends. I'll keep you up to date. And if you're looking for more content here at Meteo Mundo, here in this end screen, you'll see a couple of suggestions, including our early hurricane outlook for 2024. Have a great Monday, friends.